Okay, so in season one of Glee, in the episode titled Ballad, essentially the whole premise of the episode is Mr. Shu um, tells all of the Glee students that their next kind of big project is they get paired up and then have to create a ballad together. But there's an odd number of people, and so one of the girls gets paired up with Mr. Shu, and they sing this ballad called Endless Love or something like that together. And then she kind of falls for him, which then puts him in an uncomfortable and sort of inappropriate situation for the rest of the episode. And so the bulk of the episode is kind of watching how Mr. Shu deals with this sort of inappropriate situation, but still dealing with it diplomatically as to not, kind of crush the student or push her away from the program or something like that. And so initially, like they sing that ballad together, and then after that, the next day she comes to school and gives him a gift that's supposed to remind him of her and things like that. And it kind of just starts to progress and increase. And so initially, Shu tries to just kind of downplay it, not feed into it too much. He then tries to um, get his point across by singing a song that it directly talks about basically telling her to like keep her distance. She doesn't really pick it up then either. Um, and then surprisingly at the end of the episode, one of the students that had previously fallen in love with Mr. Shu then essentially convinces her that it's basically doesn't make sense and it's not going to work, and then she realizes that she's been acting crazy. But it is interesting to see how Mr. Shu um, kind of applies, I think, a little bit of virtue and duty ethics to the situation. Um, Duty ethics because, I mean, he's the teacher and she's a student, so it is essentially kind of his duty to maintain strictly that relationship and nothing more, and certainly not to feed into any sort of inappropriate behavior that, even if nothing's happening, could be misconstrued by um, other people, and that puts everybody in an uncomfortable situation. Um, so yeah, I think that half of it is kind of duty ethics because essentially it's still him trying to um, uphold his end as a professional and as a teacher, and essentially just kind of do his job. Um, Whereas it's also virtue ethics because one, there's some small things where Shu's wife kind of takes advantage of the fact that this high school girl has this big crush on him and makes her do a whole bunch of stuff, and he makes a point to be like, okay, that's immoral. You can't, even though this is a weird situation, you can't take advantage of her. Um, and also, even though the entire episode puts him in an uncomfortable situation, he still goes about it um, in a certain way to let her down easy and not to kind of crush the Glee Club experience and not to um, kind of crush their teacher student relationship, um, but still trying to kind of squash anything else that might be happening. Um, so I think both the duty and the virtue ethics um, he kind of evokes throughout the episode, um, just by being virtuous and being as kind and as diplomatic he can throughout the situation, but also kind of at the end of the day, still going to her and being like, "This is my job. This is this is the way things have to be." Um, but yeah, overall, I do think it was um, kind of an interesting idea. Obviously, probably a little bit uh, dramatic compared to something that you would regularly see in real life, but um, was still very interesting to kind of think about how to um, maintain but not cross the line of those teacher-student relationships, and how to kind of walk that line and stay professional while also trying to develop a connection with students, and um, through that further their connection to music or whatever extracurricular or subject it is. Um, yeah, other than that, I thought it was just um, it posed some interesting ethical perspectives, and was interesting to think about.